What's going on? Welcome back to another brand new episode of Skywalking Through the League. I am your host, Bill Sheehy, and I'm joined as always by my co-host and Jedi partner in crime, Trey Mitchell. Trey, how you doing today, bud? Are you there? Is he
Spider-Man
there?
No Way Home.
Spider
Spider-Man No Way
Trey's here.
Home. Spider-Man No Way Home. Let's
Listen,
go.
it's basically already been spoiled for me on YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube right now, which is the only way you can watch this, watch out for your recommended pages, because you're gonna get some spoilers. Trey, you doing okay, buddy? Are you excited? Are you excited
I'm
for anything in
thriving.
particular?
I FaceTimed my grandmother today from a comic book shop. She drove all the way to a comic book shop in Waco, Texas, to ask me what I wanted for Christmas. So I picked out Spider-Gwen, a Daredevil Volume 1 of something, and then she got me like a bust of a Spider-Man PS4. So that was a very wholesome moment from Grandma.
A busty Spider-Man PS4. Cool.
Yeah, it's actually Spider-Man with
dream.
a giant ass. Yeah.
Them yams.
But
love it.
Basically, I'm just excited for the little Spider-Man movie tomorrow and to talk some
Just
Rise of Skywalker. Two interesting conclusions to their respective trilogies that I'm definitely going to have thoughts on.
Yeah. Well, we
What's up,
actually
Arjun?
you've talked a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today. But we have two special friends and guests, and dare I say lovers. So first we have Jerry the Canon Junkie,
Tobey
from
Maguire, yes.
the Tobey Maguire from the Bombad cast. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys doing tonight? It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Ready to drink and talk Star Wars, but you got the jingle jangle or whatever the hell it's called.
I got a jingle fet or something.
Jingle
I think
fet?
is what it's called. A Jack and Jingle fet.
My girlfriend has done that.
Three hoes on the screen right now.
The ho ho ho's, baby. Absolutely.
She gave you the Jack and Jingle.
She gave me the jingle jet.
Okay.
It was very, very
good for
cool.
you, man. Good for you.
Speaking of jingle jets, my other good friend and the host of the Nerd Academy podcast is here, Jared Bachman Stubbs, aka Jared the Dark Jedi. Jared,
hi guys.
Hi. How are you?
Good. I'm excited for this conversation. I'm very excited for Spider-Man. I should say real quick before we get too in the weeds here, since we're talking the Rise of Skywalker, I should do a little bit more mood lighting. There we go.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Look like my balls.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus. The funniest thing here, I'm literally just getting here from work. I did a quick change to put on the new Star Wars Christmas button down, and while everybody else has their fun little holiday mixed drinks, I just immediately ran to the fridge and got like a holiday Truly. So the bartender here has the laziest drink.
It's a truly holiday, everybody. Everybody's talking about it. We're having
I'm three spiked eggnogs in right now, so we're gonna have a show.
Holiday sangria, and it's kind of awful.
I mean, it's truly awful.
It'll get you drunk.
Awful.
It will get you drunk. That's a plus.
That's about it.
That's it. So if you haven't been able to tell already, we're going to be talking about the Rise of Skywalker. This week is the 2-year anniversary of the movie coming out, which it feels weird to say that, just like, oh, it's the 2-year anniversary, which is kind of like, what's the 2-year wedding anniversary? Is it like flimsy latex or something like that? Something like that.
Sounds like your nickname in college.
Flimsy latex. Thank you,
Jerry. We should know, because this is a reoccurring joke on Knowledge Fight. We should absolutely know this.
Oh, what the second anniversary is? Yeah.
What's the anniversary?
What is that?
What?
The second? What is the second anniversary?
I don't know. Let me use this magic box in front of me.
I'm gonna say
the magic box.
Cloning.
Dark science. Yes, cloning is
maybe Secrets of the Sith. Secrets only the Sith knew.
I would ask Jazz and Theron but they've only been married for maybe a year or a couple months or something like that. Maybe
I'm divorced. I don't know any of this shit.
It's okay. But before we get into the Rise of Skywalker,
material cotton.
What?
This is a mess already.
The traditional gift for a second wedding anniversary is something related to material cotton. It symbolizes the need for a marriage to remain strong and be able to adapt to changes. Cotton is sought after because of its because of its practicality. The many uses include clothing and household items. So I don't know, like go get Ben Solo's Good Boy sweater because it's not like he's wearing it anymore.
It disappeared, didn't it?
No,
He
no,
did.
the sweater stayed.
Okay, that's
He
right.
went into the
sweater.
afterlife buck ass naked.
Good for him. What, as he should have, which I would have finished
Mm-hmm.
it a little bit.
Hey, I don't know if y'all have seen House of Gucci or not, but
do we get full frontal Adam Driver?
For me,
we don't get
probably.
full frontal, but Adam is doing the fuck in that movie.
Well, my girlfriend.
I
wants
hear
to
that's
see
what
that
the kids
soon.
are doing these days.
That's what.
Yeah.
So I'll have to see that soon. But before we get into the Rise of Skywalker chat, there's something serious I want to discuss. So
Yes.
I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. I know you guys in this episode have been paying attention because I've been plugging constantly since it happened. Last Friday, Western Kentucky, my home state, was absolutely ravaged by a tornado that it ran through 3 states. The tornado was down continuously for like 235 to 250 miles, and like up to 200 of it were in Kentucky. And there are just places in Kentucky that are just gone. And so it's really, really heartbreaking. It's sad. My dad works for the American Red Cross. And since it happened, like I was spending time with my family on Saturday and I just did not see him because he was in meetings, talking to people, getting resources to where they need to be. But the reason I bring this up is because I want to give you guys resources or plug resources to donate to. So the first one I'm going to plug is because my dad works there. The American Red Cross, the Western Kentucky American Red Cross. If we'll put it in the description. But just look up on Facebook, on Google, WKY American Red Cross, and there'll be a donation button where you can give. You can make a real difference if you donate. Another one I want to plug is Team Kentucky. That's the official state of Kentucky. The governor set it up to help the people in need right now. That's at Team Kentucky. That's kentucky.gov /WKY relief. And then the last one I want to plug is one of the places I used to write is a place called Kentucky Sports Radio, Funkhauser. And they have set up a relief fund as well. And it's KSR tornado relief.com. Guys, please, if you are able, if you can give anything, please give to these charities, donate. If there's been any good out of this, it's seeing the good that the people of Kentucky have. There's a really great quote from Happy Chandler, who was he was governor of Kentucky. He was the MLB commissioner that integrated baseball. And he said, "I never met a Kentuckian who wasn't either thinking about going home or actually going home." We are really good people. We take care of each other. We love each other. And it's shown throughout all this. People have opened up their homes. People have just constantly given. And hearing the stories from Western Kentucky have been heartbreaking. But please, I want to end before we talk about Star Wars. Please give if you can. I love my state. If I've brought you any kind of joy, please consider giving, please. But yeah. Anyway, let's get into the Rise of Skywalker. So it was 2 years ago. I remember the first trailer that I saw for the Rise of Skywalker. It was at Star Wars Celebration where I first met Jerry. And I remember being in that room, and I remember that kind of was the first, like, okay, this could be something really cool. What do you guys remember about the build-up? And then, going from the build-up to, actually seeing it in the theater. What were your initial reactions? So talk about the build-up, first, and let's go to our initial reactions when it first came out. Jared, what do you think?
It was really unique. I mean, for me at the time because, I was in I was about to wrap up my first year being like in like the Star Wars podcasting sphere. That was long before I got to really know any of you. I was doing the Dewback discussion stuff. This is pre Nerd Academy. And I just remember like the excitement. We were doing audio commentary tracks leading up, doing the Skywalker Saga audio commentary tracks. I had been drunk several times on air, and I talked. I was, I haven't gone back and listened to them. Not being like I can't remember what I said. I remember exactly what I said, and I remember being very emotional and loud every time.
Mm-hmm.
I did get a little Alex Jonesy, and Travis convinced me to this is before we had a video, and Travis got me to like pull my shirt up and like drunkenly draw a lightsaber on my stomach with a dry erase marker. I thought it was pretty damn good though. That's just me. Anyway, no, I remember being incredibly excited. I was in kindergarten when Revenge of the Sith came out, and I was convinced that the Star Wars was no more then, and I was like, I know Star Wars isn't no more after this, but the Skywalker saga may be. And I was excited to see how everything came to fruition. I love the sequel trilogy. I was incredibly excited for the Rise of Skywalker. Happy birthday, The Last Jedi. My favorite Star Wars. So coming off The Last Jedi, I was super excited, and going into it, first time I get to review a Star Wars movie. Like, this is my first since becoming a content creator who primarily talked about Star Wars. And then I saw the movie, and I have a really complex relationship with it now.
Mm-hmm. Jerry, what about you? I know that build up for you might have been a little different. What was the build up for you like, and then what was the initial reaction when you walked out of that theater?
So I think the initial, like, no trailers had released before Celebration, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yep.
So again, 2019 Chicago was my first like celebration ever. Went by myself. Little Mouse in the Big City. It was great. I met a young lad named Scotty J-Ro, and the rest of they say is history. The next day, like, we met at like a meetup, and then like the next day, he and his lovely now fiance, then girlfriend Katie, were like, "Hey, you should come with us." And so, I got to hang out with them. We watched that trailer. Scotty became a viral sensation in that moment.
He also became,
oh my god, yeah.
He also became a dumb moron after that, and you can quote me on that.
A dumb moron.
Good morning, dumb morons.
Or according to all the guys that are
don't quote that coward in front of me.
Virgin, smelling of BO and Axe body spray. Which, I mean, I don't know why you're dogging Axe body spray. It's fine, whatever. It's a thing. No, I'm just kidding. I haven't used Axe body spray since I was 16. But anyway. Listen, I can't believe the fever pitch of excitement that I had for this movie. Scotty and I started Bombad Cast that summer. Mm-hmm. We, did like we actually did a build up to it and everything, which I think is what you were like referencing and everything. Mm-hmm. We did like a big build up of, these, we're going to go through every Star Wars movie, really dissect them. And we went, and I'm going to be honest. So the day I'm going to go see it, I was like going to go with my neighbor. It was like the first time I went just see it with someone who, wasn't, I wasn't married to or anything like that. It was an interesting time. And like on my way home from work, there's a car accident in front of me. Like I get like some guy like some kid comes through, like gets clipped and stuff, and I get out to make sure he's okay. It's all fine. A weird fucking day. Okay. I get to the theater, I'm watching it, and I think my initial reaction was I didn't love it as much as I wanted to love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very conflicted because I'd never really had that with a Star Wars movie before. And so that was weird and uncomfortable. I didn't like it and things like that. You know, it was just kind of, it was interesting. I had to call Scotty, I think the next day. I sat on it, slept with, the knot in my gut, and called Scotty the next day. And was just like, got my things that I thought were weird out. And then all of a sudden, like, okay, I feel a little better. And then, every time I watch, I went and watched it several times in theaters still because, that's what we do, right? That's what we do. We're Star Wars fans.
It's about drive. It's about power. We stay hungry. We devour. Put in the work. Put in the hours. And take what's ours. And then that's watching Rise of Skywalker, however many times it takes.
Yeah. And like, but now listen, I've come down on it where it's part of the series. And I there's parts of it that I absolutely love. Right. There's parts that I absolutely love. There's still criticisms I have. Like to me, it feels like the first half feels like it's got the editing of like a modern sci-fi, like a Men in Black. It's got the editing of a Men in Black sequel at the beginning. I feel like just because it feels so jumpy to me. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean that as super derogatory, but it just doesn't feel like Star Wars editing for some reason to me. It just felt like boom, 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 boom. It's like, okay, we need to paint all these numbers in before we get to the finale.
I think they had to do a lot though. Like, and they had to do it in a quick amount of time, which,
oh yeah,
I'll talk about it later. But like, I think you could have easily made that movie like 3 hours long. Like there's a lot of stuff.
I don't know why they didn't just add 20 extra minutes on the end,
because like even, I think there's something to be said that like one of the two most the biggest box office hits of all time are Avatar and Endgame, and they're nearing 3 hours. So like, I know there's
throw Titanic in there too,
and Titanic too. That's exactly right. So like, I think that it for me it moves at a pretty quick pace, like you're saying, but it can feel a little bit different. Noah brings up a really really good point about the extended opening on Mustafar. Like,
yeah,
I to build the side, I should. Yes, you should.
Wait, hold on. We were at the pool and he was drunk, and then he was like,
I wasn't that drunk though.
I'm gonna tweet. I'm gonna tweet that I like Rise of Skywalker more than Empire Strikes Back, and then we're gonna watch it.
That's not a good Bill impression.
I don't know how to do a Bill impression.
It's like there are two of you here.
Whoa. Yeah, it's yes, I wasn't that drunk. I legitimately believe that. That
makes it worse, man.
The Rise of Skywalker, for me, this is me. This is Bill. I like the Rise of Skywalker more than I like Empire. Empire was always my least favorite Star Wars movie growing up. I liked it for its, the big twist at the end, but like, it didn't really do anything for me. It didn't make it move. The Rise of Skywalker made it move. I'm sorry.
Bill at the club, like, make it move!
Make it move!
Make it move, baby. Make it move.
But
Bill's like, I need a Star Wars movie that's throwing ass!
that's exactly what it did.
Earn those dollar bills. Yeah.
But so we got sidetracked a little bit because I do want to talk about
just a bit
my full thoughts. What was your initial reaction coming out of the theater seeing The Rise of Skywalker?
Well, first off, the build-up was really cool. I really enjoyed the build-up. I thought there were some really cool trailers. We got the Duel of the Fates trailer, which was really cool, which they unfortunately did not use in the movie, which was pretty sad, in my opinion.
Spain without the S.
Yeah, but no, I mean both of my trailer reactions did pretty well to that. Because my first one, I was sitting in my dorm. This was obviously the year before the pandemic hit, and I was wearing a Star Wars blanket as a cape. So it was great, and it got like 5,000 views. I was so happy. 0 dislikes.
It's a banger.
It's so fun.
I watched it the other day, like just
Really?
in preparation. I really did. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we posted our reaction video to the second trailer, and something really cool happened. The official Star Wars YouTube channel with the Star Wars show posted a compilation of a bunch of reactions, like it showed what they were reacting to in the trailer. And Bill and I got on. And I think it was Long Have I Waited. And then Bill was like,
I think they edited that a lot, because I definitely said shit like 4 or 5 times, and like I think they changed like where I actually did that reaction to like a different point, because like I rewatched it, and if you watch the Star Wars show edit, it's not the same reaction to what was happening on the screen. So they wanted to put us in
made
there.
it on the Star Wars YouTube channel. That was pretty cool.
We did.
You had a great reaction. Just, they were like, oh, use that. Pull that.
Yeah, pull that. We don't care where it is. Just use that.
But then going to see the movie, I remember like the Rotten Tomato score reveal happened. And it like shows like all these scores. And like it finally settles on one. It was 56. And I was like, oh, like I had a physical reaction to it.
Wasn't there a recent movie that did that with like, it was like a 10?
It was Hellboy.
There it is. That's right.
Hellboy was like 2%.
Anyway, keep going.
But
Sorry.
anyways, my sister and I, we go to see every opening film together pretty much when we can. I had told her the score and that people didn't like it so much. And all throughout the first 2 acts of the movie, she keeps going over to me and looking at me and going, it's not that bad. Like, it's not that bad. And she was like, I kind of like it. And I was like, that's fine. I like it too. It's a good first watch. And I, as I do with a lot of movies, I come out of it like really loving it. And I was like, this is the best Star Wars movie. Like I was like eating it up and stuff. And I still I like the movie. I think it's messy, but I also am a giant fan of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And this is definitely The Amazing Spider-Man 2 of Star Wars movies.
I think that's a pretty good analogy.
I think it's really funny, Trey, that both of us use comparisons to our favorite widely panned superhero movie with Rise of Skywalker.
What did you say?
I always compare it to Batman v Superman.
Ooh, Dawn of Just Tits.
I guess, yeah. I guess I could see that because I love BVS.
Well, because for me, BVS is this weird like 50-50 mess, like the Rise of Skywalker is. Where it's like every time I see something in Batman v Superman that I'm like, this is so good. This is genius. Like it is like I will slowly turn into a Snyder bot while I watch BVS, and then like in the next scene something happens and I immediately something will happen in the movie in the next 5 minutes and I'm just like, oh, this is terrible. This is awful. I can't believe somebody signed off on this. This made it out of the editing bay. What am I watching? And then the next scene, I'm like really into it. Same thing with the Rise of Skywalker. I think it's very interesting that you and I both have that like TASM 2 and BVS.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 gang till I die.
So I think
to this day,
I want to. It's really hard to say this when you have like a podcast, but like I'm not a critic, dude. Like I have a propensity to like most things that I like. If I go to a movie, like I'm expecting to like it. Like
what's the last movie you saw in theaters?
Last movie that I saw in theaters?
Yeah.
Eternals. But I like that.
Good movie.
It's a good movie. Like for what it is, like it's just it had to do a lot of heavy lifting. But this is not Eternals talk. This is Rise of Skywalker.
Eternals bad.
I'm talking about how I have just a propensity to like most movies that I go to see. And you put in the Star Wars thing into it, which I have a deep affinity for, which I love with every breath I take.
Every movie you make.
I'm watching it when I'm trying to. So when the buildup I thought was really, really exciting. Seeing that first trailer at Celebration with all those people, like just in that room, the air was electric. Like I could just feel it. And so that was like a really, really good starting off point. And then it just went up like that. And then once the there's just something special about seeing like throughout the sequel trilogy, they've those trailers that they did at Monday Night Football. Like I got incredibly excited. So
Giants versus Eagles.
That's right, and then just getting excited for it. And
that
then,
night, oh man, I remember I was sitting in the basement at my grandmother's house, which is where we used to record before studio, and oh my god, Travis and I, we were down there. That was the first time my mom made what I refer to as sloppy tops.
Excuse me, your mother did
I
what?
stole this name from
wait.
I stole this name from the internet.
Did I have too much to drink then?
No, there's sloppy Joe grilled cheeses.
Okay. Ooh,
you
that
can't
actually
call it that, dude.
Sloppy
tops.
I didn't. I saw somebody was like, there was like, my family calls these sloppy tops, and I was like, well, I guess that's what they're called. I know what the slang is, but I was like, but every time I say it, I get that reaction, and then people go, oh, but grilled cheese sloppy Joe sounds really good. I'm like, yeah, go get some sloppy top.
Sloppy top, you'll always be.
Yes, rename that. Rename that. Oh my god, recipe right now.
Give it respect and call it sloppy James.
Honestly, like for me, Rise of Skywalker, you could actually call sloppy tops because like it's sloppy, but like it's so much fun, you know. It's just,
but it's so good. But it's a grilled cheese sandwich on a sloppy Joe.
This has gotten so out of hand.
So you know, I'm like I said, I have a propensity to like things that I go to see. And then you had the Star Wars
sloppy
thing.
Joe.
Slop is the sloppy top. That's right. So I remember being incredibly emotional during it. I think it for me, like I'm a sap. I'm always going to be a sap. So anything that leads into like the sappiness, the heart. I think what the Rise of Skywalker does really, really well. It has that heart. It has that emotional core. Like I've said it many, many times on Twitter. One of my favorite moments from the Rise of Sloppy.
That's what it's gonna be called from now on.
The Rise of Sloppy Top.
In any group chat, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I just really like watching the Rise of Sloppy Top.
You are a genius. Thank you. Sloppy seconds, baby. Yes,
man,
please.
I am a lady of the night because I be having hella sloppy tops whenever those are over.
Anyway,
this is the screenshot of the episode.
Sloppy top of Star Wars.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Well,
but
you're completely right about the emotional core. Though. Like, there's moments that, like, the moment of what is it? The galaxy showing up to fight.
Yes.
At the end.
I think
that part still brings me to tears, man.
Because like that's that. I feel like that's kind of the message has been the message of Star Wars since the beginning. Is like, hey, there are more of us. There are good people out there. So, god damn it, can we?
We've lost it.
Somehow
it's gone.
This is a.
Oh, Steve's here.
Oh no!
Stop is a sex act that involves a Trandoshan, 2 power converters, and 1-legged toilet.
Good God!
Merry Christmas.
I don't know what is happening. Oh my god!
That's right next to the Eope show.
Oh my god!
Cookie Cup. I don't know who Steve Palpatine is, but please go consume his soul.
There's no soul left.
He
there.
followed me. Sorry. No.
There's no soul there.
He's a denizen of Bombad. So
I think something that's. Sorry.
Go ahead. I was gonna So we've talked about our initial reaction to it. Let's move into the more positive aspects of it. What do we think? We talked about the emotional core so far. Jared, was your point something positive about?
Absolutely, it wasn't.
Okay, that's fine. Go from there then.
Well, I was just going to say, like, there is a lot of heart and emotion to this movie. And I think that everybody has different things in it that really do speak to them with this film. Like I love the concept of the galaxy showing up to throw down with the final order.
Mm-hmm.
I love the concept. The way that it feels so incredibly, hey, Finn on your left, is kind of frustrating. Because you can tell there's like a little bit of like reference there. I don't know, like whether or not that's intentional is, up to you to decide. But it doesn't work as it's presented, which which is something to be said for a lot of this movie, which I think also goes for Batman v Superman and TASM too. That there is like the concept is great, the execution is lacking. I, as somebody who from scene one was immediately enthralled by Kylo Ren. There's a reason why I have a picture of him permanently etched into my thigh. I think that like I was always like super baked into like what is going to happen with this guy. And when I first saw The Force Awakens, I was like, this is really cool. Let him die a bastard. And then as time went on,
Solo. He killed Han Solo. He can't be redeemed. Like that's how we all thought after Force Awakens.
Well, for me, there was a part of me that was like, I don't want to see I don't want to see him go down Vader's journey. I want this to be he, sticks to his dark side guns and whatever happens. And then I kind of started to think about it more and started to kind of like, read some of the supplementary material around the sequels, and kind of slowly before The Last Jedi got into that, like, what if he becomes a good guy by the end? I think I would like that, but I don't want him to die in redemption. And like seeing Ben's conflict, and I think, and again, this is very George Lucasian, the way that the dark side is this weird drug. And the way that Ben is shown clearly using the dark side and using his own darkness to cope and using it as a crutch emotionally, I think is fascinating. And I think is one of the strongest elements of the sequel trilogy, is seeing that this is not who he is at his core, and that he is trying so hard to be this villain when that's not who he is. So by the time we get to the Rise of Skywalker, and he is so broken and so filled with anguish that he is just forcing himself to swallow this pill that is the dark side. And we see one of the most like heartbreaking brief moments, in Star Wars, in my opinion, is whenever they're standing in the ruins of the Emperor's throne room on the second Death Star, and they're fighting over the Wayfinder. And there is the moment where Ben looks at her and says, "You can never go back, just like I can't." That, like, there is such an emotional complexity there that Ben is so convinced that no one would ever take him back, that his family just wants nothing to do with him. When Han gave his life to try to bring Ben home, and so did Luke, and then later so does Leia, where there was a very complex showing of like the abuse and trauma that Ben Solo was subjected to completely radicalize and brainwash him into being this monster, that it takes the death of his parents, his uncle, him almost dying, Rey saving him, and then the Force sending him a moment to reconcile with Han. For him to go, I can do the right thing and choose the right thing. That is incredible. That element alone is incredible. And I can't quite finish that thought while staying positive, but that element there, and the way that Ben and Rey have this shared trauma, and that the thing that I love so much about them in this movie is that for all intents and purposes, Rey's arc kind of ends in The Last Jedi. And this is the movie where we get to see her as a fully fledged, spiritually, maybe not in terms of training or any of that nonsense, but like Rey is a Jedi. By the time we see her, like, and the idea that you could have done this movie of seeing Rey in her element, in the path and like hole she cut out for herself in the galaxy, that you get to see Rey just throwing down, you know, kind of like in the way that like in the Revenge of the Sith, you kind of get to see Obi-Wan and Anakin like just being Jedi for a while. What I think you could have done with Rey, and like Rey's good heart helps him see better in himself, you know. I'm going to turn this into another like me hijacking the show to do like a seminar if I continue. But
here, let's, Jerry. What were your overwhelming positives of Sloppy Tops 2? Getting more sloppy top.
Electric sloppy top.
Electric. How Stella got her sloppy top back.
Right. I really enjoy the big themes towards the like. I mean, I understand the problems and everything, but for me, and again, this is. I realize my perspective is, you know, not everybody's and everything, but like, to see Rey spit in the face of a crusty old white dude who wanted her to, you know, just hate everybody at the time, you know, and I'm not trying to get too political, but, you know, like we were kind of in a little bit of a political situation where, you know, I mean, we got too many crusty old white dudes.
Listen, Palpatine looks like a certain senator from Kentucky, which shall remain nameless for the time being.
Little gobble neck and stuff.
Little turtly Palpatine.
The power
of the
two
Turtle
restores the one.
But I mean, to me, I love
Senate majority leader.
The thing with
I love looking in the face of pure tyranny and just, you know, like that's your legacy. That's where you come from, and saying no, fuck that legacy. I don't want I don't want to be a part of that anymore.
Right.
To go off in a better direction, go off in her own direction, regardless of, you know, how it ends and all that, whatever. I still think she can. I still think there's going to be more. I still think we're getting more. But, and I can't stress enough the whole Lando, and I know it's like an on your left kind of a thing, but that part really speaks to me, especially the whole, just where I was at the time. Again, where we were at the country, where I was in my life and stuff, you know, you've the whole, where they get these ships, they have no navy. It's not a navy, sir. It's just people.
That's it. That's
that's an incredibly powerful moment.
And I love that.
That's when I start to cry.
Right.
That's when I start to cry. It's not just when the ships show up. And I mean, it's quickly like it's a little dampened because like I love Babu Frick. I love everybody, but like when he pops up like a hand puppet in her thing, like hey, I'm here too. Like, oh, okay, buddy.
But all right. I will say that, like, you know, we're on the positives right now. Like, I think it does, like Jared said, it does feel a little on your left, and like some of the delivery during those scenes, it's like I love Oscar Isaac, but like, oh. You made it. It just felt like so like It's a Wonderful Life kind of Frank Capra Capricorn. Like it felt a little cheesy, which you know
that's all throughout all of Star Wars.
I mean, it's
like
it's wizards in space,
cheesy.
so like it has to be campy in some capacity.
One of my least favorite lines in all of Star Wars.
Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, one of my least favorite lines of Star Wars is Return of the Jedi when Luke goes, "I know I could turn him back to the good side," or something. Like, just say to the light. Just say to the light.
To the good side.
Less like a 12-year-old on the playground, but also George wants this to be for 12-year-olds on the playground. So
what
go
if
for
I
it.
brought him back to the good side?
Yeah, there's lines like that like, you know, just Star Wars will somehow just hit these like abrupt road bumps in dialogue. stuff like that. There's another time where like Luke verges on saying bad guy in Empire Strikes Back. I think one of the reasons why Endgame pulls off on your left and why the Rise of Skywalker, the civilians of the galaxy rising up to throw down with the Final Order, I think Endgame succeeds because how little talking there is. You know,
Yeah.
I think if you limit the arrival of the civilian fleet to just such and such checking in, such and such standing by, like people who have a reason to like be on the frequency and be like, hey, we're here, let's wreck this shit. Like the people who have like the Ghost Crew and like Wedge and like Zori Bliss, like people we know, and also having a moment to be like, hi, person who's done this thing before here, where do you need me to go? Like little moments like that, little vignettes, in the same way that in Endgame you have Pepper boom land right down in front of Tony in the rescue suit, and you have the little back and forth between Strange and Wong. Like you have many moments in there, and you can have that moment where like Poe realizes Zori is okay and all of that. It's a great scene. Like in theory, it's a beautiful scene. And it's one of those, like, I don't want to be the like, oh, the sequel trilogy needed better planning because script outlines.
Was that Kermit the Frog there? Is Kermit the Frog?
Hey ho, Kermit the Frog here, member of the Phantom Menace. No. But like
actually, the Hollywood media is canceling everyone. Sorry,
we hire Gina Carano. Anyway,
we could do that all day.
Not an actual
we could do this
opinion
all day.
But I just it's little things like that I think that's a very hot take. I appreciate it. I think it's little things like that make them not work as well as the other version of it. Is that like it goes into that Star Wars camp of like, you made it, you guys.
What helps me is John Williams blasting the Star Wars theme.
Which is such a cool,
like which he never just plays in a movie anymore.
Which I think that for me that makes the moment work because it's like, oh, they've never really done this in a movie before besides like the opening scene, but like this, like I to quote How I Met Your Mother, like they're in the Star Wars, like they're doing it.
Lived them.
Trey, what are your positives, buddy?
Ray. I really like Ray in the movie. I think she's really cool. I don't particularly love the Palpatine thing, but I really think it's cool that she gets to decide who she is because I think that's a really powerful kind of storytelling thing. And I really like the dyad. The dyad's really cool.
Yeah.
I've seen people skywalking through the league, the beautiful bastards they are, tweeted today, what do you think of the Rise of Skywalker? Which definitely won't get any replies, right?
That's
Wrong.
what we thought.
We got a lot of replies today. And I remember one of them saying that it ruined Anakin Skywalker's arc as the chosen one. And I just genuinely didn't understand that because like Anakin had to be born and have children for Ben Solo to continue his story. Like he's the direct ancestor of him.
Like Anakin's like,
no, Anakin literally finishes
what I fucking started, man. Like it doesn't negate it at all. Like it's just Another thing that surprised me about that tweet that we did is just some of the vitriol behind it, man. Like it just some people like not only like hate that, but they like blame it for everything wrong in their lives. They're like, it's the worst movie ever. I hate it. It's not fun. I don't get that. But speaking of the go ahead.
There's no positives to just constantly talking about what you don't like on Twitter. A lot of us love The Last Jedi and a lot of us don't like The Rise of Skywalker. But like, I don't talk about The Rise of Skywalker on Twitter because it's talk about what you love. Talk about like embrace what you love. Don't talk about what you hate. So kind of just going back to what you said, Bill, there was a lot of hate, but I like one of my good friends, Noah, he's in this chat right now. He loves The Rise of Skywalker so much. And he loves Ochi of Bastoon. And like, He just loves it,
OG.
and that's so cool. And like, even
OG
if a lot of
stan.
people don't love the movie, like he's made that his kind of niche, I guess, in Star Wars and like the fandom, and that's so cool that people saw this movie and then like went
Could
and
have been
had a
Therm
new
Scissor
favorite
Punch.
character.
It could
and, like,
have been
Babu
Therm
Frick.
Scissor Punch.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't
Yeah,
have a
Therm-
Mochia
oh,
Bastoon.
Therm.
Sorry.
The trading card of Therm. Ugh,
Ochi gang. Anyway,
for sure.
I want to take one positive that I have from it and then kind of move it into a negative, I guess, and then talk about the negatives because I think we have a couple thoughts on that. Like Palpatine's return does not bother me, and I actually really, really dig it because like I think once you like show me the scene at the beginning where he reuses the line from Revenge of the Sith, the dark side is a path with many abilities, some consider to be unnatural. I'm in. Like that's like okay, that's all I need to hear.
Yep.
I get why some people would think, oh well, that's explain it further, and like there is like they explain it better in like the novelization. But like once you tell me that, I'm in.
Great.
Once you tell me that's it, I'm in. I don't need to hear anything else. Okay, absolutely. And I think Ian does a really, really good job being back as Palpatine. But talking about turning into a negative, I think that Rey being a Palpatine is one of the dumbest twists in any Star Wars ever, in a lot of movies ever, because it literally like it came out of nowhere. Like I know they did about as good a job as they could explaining it, writing it into the movie like
it wasn't
that.
planned from the beginning.
It wasn't, but like
that one's obvious.
It when Kylo Ren said to her on that Star Destroyer, "You have his power. You're a Palpatine." Like I literally, I could see my brain because I was rolling my eyes back so far into my head because you could have said anything else, and I would have like, okay, you're a Kenobi because that enriches his story where he had a kid with Satine. That's awesome. You can explain that, like, and I think that it's easily explainable in the movie. Like, just give a little backstory to that. But like Palpatine, I don't know, it just felt kind of fan fictiony. And as someone who's written fan fiction, like, it's not great. But it bring up Arjun's comment real quick, Trey. It was given the hardest card to play, telling the story without the most. Yeah, exactly. I think they did about as good a job as they could with it, but I just think that's the Palpatine stuff is so dumb. What's everybody else's big negative from the Rise of Skywalker? Trey, let's start with you, bud.
The idea that you're gonna make Ben Solo this Vader type character that redeems himself at the end, yet just dies and doesn't get to show what a life would be like. For example, Avatar: The Last Airbender with Zuko. It's this really cool arc that this character redeems himself, and you get the payoff of him as a hero, because it's just it's a bit of a bullshit storytelling that you're gonna pull the same thing as Vader and just kill him, and it's just like I believe that
yeah. I get why they did it, because it's like they always say like it's poetry, it's rhymes, like it's the same thing that what happened to.
I think that's
Vader
a lazy
storytelling
thing.
I do too, and we'll talk about it later. But
I still think there's a way, and there's a world that if you want to bring Ben Solo back, there have been characters in Star Wars who have literally been cut in half and fallen into an abyss that have come back. So you can put him back in Star Wars if you want to, in a way that probably can make some sense. I trust them, but just the way that him dying, like I really would have loved to see Adam Driver as Ben, even say a freaking word as Ben Solo. It just it hurt, because I think we all knew where that was going, and it would have been really cool to me. My good friend on Twitter, Nathan Rojas. If you look up Rise of Skywalker animation ending or something like that, he animated his own version of the end of the Rise of Skywalker, and like basically made it so that he's on Tatooine with Rey, and Lando comes with the Falcon, and he gets this really good reunion with Lando. And Lando's like, I understand, you know, not like your parents kind of let you go. I forgive you. And it was this really cool thing, and it's a really cool story. So I would definitely look it up on YouTube. But basically, just Ben Solo dying and not having any sort of arc to like make him a new character again, like make Ben Solo a real character, was my biggest problem with the movie, probably.
Jared,
because I love Kylo Ren. He's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, sorry.
All good.
Yeah.
I'm honestly going to piggyback off of Trey so much, specifically with the third act. I couldn't disagree more about the poetry it rhymes thing, especially with Star Wars, because it's so baked into its DNA. The issue is that they didn't rhyme. They didn't close the rhyme. You know, there's a difference between poetry rhyming and like the story repeating itself. You know, poetry it rhymes is the fact that Kylo Ren is Darth Vader backwards. As I've said before, on as I say ad nauseum, that it's Vader born to nothing, prophesied for greatness, falls to the dark side in part because of a toxic romantic love and is saved by a wholesome familial love. Ben is born into greatness and is expected to be great, falls to the dark side because of a perceived lack of familial love, and is in part brought back to the light through a romantic love with Rey. It's Vader backwards. That's the poetry.
Mm-hmm.
You break the cycle of death, destruction, and violence by not letting Ben die. And I know that there's all of like the real world arguments about how, oh, well, you know, how do you just expect like members of the resistance to, whenever like they show back up on Agent Claws, if Ben jumps out of the back seat of that X-Wing, how do you expect everybody to react? And it's like, you know what? You're right. This is also a fairy tale in space.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my like pie in the sky, if I had the keys to the castle, my version of how this would have ended. And I don't know if or when that will be brought up. I'm saving that for the correct point in the show. But I think that Ben dying is the dumbest decision, like Trey said, for all of the reasons Trey said. My biggest thing is that Ben and Rey should have faced the Emperor together. You get this incredible moment where you see the indomitable heart and spirit of Ben Solo while he's getting his shit kicked in by the Knights of Ren, you know, fighting them bare knuckle and getting his ass kicked. And then we see him, you know, just be like, my grandfather is Anakin Skywalker. Sit the fuck down. And with just this swagger that is an amalgamation of all of his family, you know, with this that like it looks like you took like Anakin, Luke, Han, and Leia, put them in a blender, hit like liquefied it. That is like the vibe you get from the way Ben's throwing down with the Knights of Ren. And then you see Rey taking on the Sith Eternal Guards, and she's using the Force in these inventive ways. Like, we do not talk enough about her weird vertical Force push.
Force healing, too. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the Force heal, yeah. Like the way whenever she's like surrounded by the guards, and not only is she using her lightsaber to defend herself, but she's like catching blaster bolts, throwing them back, using to menace, and like I said, like grabbing that one guy by the head and like pancaking him down into the ground. Mm-hmm. It's so cool. It's so inventive. We see them just going full sicko mode. And it feels like it's them building up to like, okay, now it's us versus you. Rey, who's rejecting the legacy of evil that Palpatine is demanding that she continue, and Ben, who has had this moment of like self-actualization. My family loves and loved me. You lied to me. You made me feel unwanted. You put me in a position where I found ways to validate doing terrible things. And I hate you for letting you turn me into that. And Ben embracing the legacy of his grandfather, his true grandfather, not Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker. They together are re-fulfilling Anakin's prophecy. And that's the thing where I hate that take that it takes away from Anakin's sacrifice. It doesn't. Anakin, like Trey said, had to set in motion the events that would result in Palpatine being defeated again. You know, and the way that it is truly a pure, full-throated refutation of the Sith and of the Empire and everything Palpatine Sidious stands for. There is such genius in having them fight him together. And the way that the movie just completely takes all the steam out of both of them. That they have that moment, they have their like cool ass action pose with their lightsabers in this ready stance. And I get showing Palpatine,
that leaked 5 months before the movie came out.
Yeah,
the day after the trailer. That was so cool, them standing side by side. And then and I get trying to show Palpatine's power and how much of a threat he is, without a lightsaber. Like he's still in the rig, not able to do anything. And is still able to just manhandle them with the Force. I think you can show that without Palpatine immediately lifting them up and accidentally Force draining them. And even having that little moment where he starts to drain them, again, you're right back at the confusion of what the hell is your plan? It went from I'm going to possess, it went from she needs to die to I never wanted you to die to I need to possess you to I'm going to Force drain you.
It's jazz, baby.
Sorry, no. It's certainly something.
Well, hold on to that, Jared. Jared, speaking of jazz, what is your negative of the Rise of Skywalker?
Well,
biggest negative,
honestly. Well, I mean, it honestly just all boils down to I don't think that my thing with it was Ben disappeared like Force Ghosts do, but then he doesn't show up with Luke and Leia at the end. And to me, that's either we're planning something down the road or
it gives me hope.
I don't either don't kill him or you better have something coming. I just wouldn't have ended it with him dying. I love everything that you guys are saying there about Jared. I was a little disappointed that we didn't get more of a fight, which sounds very edgelord, very I want more of him and Rey fighting together, kind of a thing. Yeah. We kind of had that, but I mean, I want them they did the whole thing where she passed the lightsaber, super badass, love it.
Yeah.
Then have them come together back to back and just wreck shit. The Throne Room 2.0.
You didn't get enough of that dyad. There was no they talked about it a lot, but or I guess they talked about it a lot, but they never really got an opportunity to do any more than they were really never together. They didn't fight.
I guess that they did some cool stuff. I thought one of my positives that I didn't say is I think that they did really cool stuff with the Force the Force connection that they had, where they had fights across distances, which was kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know, I guess it's good that it left me wanting more, but I'm just I feel like you could have added a little more,
Speaking of adding a little more, so let's say that, J.J. Abrams, instead of Chris Terrio, fires Chris Terrio, picks one of us to basically pick up the story kind of as it is, but change one major plot point. What is your change and why? And let's start with Jerry.
Oh man. This is also really hard because you say Jared and Jerry. I'm sure like we're both like, okay, which one? Wait for the D or the Y on the end. Jerry. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Flashbacks to Podathon.
I think right. Oh, right. I'm back in the green room again. Holy shit. No. If just one thing, if I could change just one thing, I mean, I'm probably gonna take Jared's then. I don't know, like I think I would have left Ben alive. Or okay, if I won't take exactly that. Maybe I've already taken it. I'll cheat and do two things, I guess. This is my real one. I would have this is at very least, I would have put him at the end with Luke and Leia.
Okay.
Like
I dig that.
Smiling.
I really dig that.
Just again, I don't know, because then I think I would have rather him been alive. And I guess him not being there leaves room for the future. So,
Jared, I think I know what yours is, but what is it?
I mean, I'm changing the entire last 20 minutes.
Okay.
Like that's a conservative estimate. Ben and Rey face the Emperor together. You do the thing that we've all seen ad nauseum, where it is the Force ghosts. Like you have the whole like with the Jedi of old reaching out to Ben and Rey. But it's both of them. You have what is easily the biggest missed opportunity on a character level of having Anakin say to Ben, "Finish what I started." Like literally having Anakin say the words. Because it's Star Wars and subtlety is for pussies. Sometimes you need to just be that on the nose and lean into it. Which is my hot take.
That shit, baby.
Sometimes it needs to be ham-fisted. I mean, look at The Last Jedi. Clearly, everybody's ability to read between the lines and any amount of media literacy, like we all need some work. Clearly. Because I know people who watched a completely different movie than I did. Or maybe we're all just that smart. Either way. I can tell who did well in English. I can tell who did well in English class. My hot take. But no, you have both of them take on the Emperor. You have them survive. I can go either way on keeping Rey Palpatine. By then, you go back to like the kind of like a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away card, but in the same starry background with the same blue letters 5 years later. And then you open up on the Millennium Falcon pulling up to Octo. You have a big ass wide shot showing Rey running the Jedi, this new iteration of the Jedi on Octo. And you do a big like around, you just shoot going around the island. You see Ben and Finn. If Ben is alive, you see Ben and Finn sparring. You see that they have clearly made amends because they're kind of like having a good time with it. Poe steps out of the Falcon, probably with like Lando and Chewie in tow for whatever reason. And you get to see Rey talking to a group of like young Jedi to be, and in some like, bullshit Jedi, whatever, like put her in front of people so she has a reason to randomly turn on her new yellow lightsaber. And you see that like there's like a hall that they've constructed that has Luke and Leia's lightsabers in it. That's like an homage to them, which I think in a way would completely pay off The Last Jedi, where Rey has learned personally the mistakes that Luke and Leia and the Jedi of old have made. And that The Last Jedi, the whole movie is going, run from your past, run as fast as you can and let it dominate your future, versus let the past die, kill it if you have to. And the point of The Last Jedi is to meet in the middle. of learn from your past, understand what it is, embrace it, but move on from it and let it guide you. And showing that Rey like knows the mistakes her forebears made, but still like looks up to Luke and Leia and her adoptive family. You hear the kids calling her Master Skywalker. That is how I end it. You end it by showing that Rey has picked up the torch, that Ben is making the most of the second chance that he's been given. And that he and Finn have made amends. You get to see Finn as a Jedi briefly. That's what like I said, I changed the entire back chunk of the movie. From the staging of them facing Palpatine to like the final shot. Is what I'm changing if I can only change one portion of the movie.
I got you.
But that's absolutely the direction I go in.
My co-host Trey, what would you change?
I know we talked about it a bit before the show, but we got to mention Duel of the Fates, the movie that was going to happen, but didn't happen. I definitely agree with Jared about just the ending. I still like the ending. It's not my favorite ending, but I think the 5 years later thing would have been quite cool. Although I do think we might get a show within the next few years that takes place during maybe that next 5 years. So that's the only thing I can think of that maybe makes me okay that they didn't particularly show that. But I bring up the Duel of the Fate script because there was a pretty decent, in my opinion, arc for Finn in that, where he led a revolution of stormtroopers against the First Order. And I guess that would be what I would say, is I think that storyline for Finn, although I quite liked what he did in this movie. Like, I personally don't understand the criticism that John Boyega, that like Finn was like written out in this movie. I think, or maybe people have that about the Last Jedi, but I really like Finn's arc in all these films, and I think they're pretty cool. Too. And I really, reading the novelization has made me love this or like this movie more. That the novelization is just absolutely amazing. Highly recommend it.
I just hate it, like, because I know we talked about, I think we've talked about on the show before about how like Catalyst is essential reading. And I think kind of to get the full context of the Rise of Skywalker,
it was Ray Carson, right?
Yeah, it was. Yes.
I got it last Christmas, and it was one of my favorite Christmas gifts. I really, really enjoyed reading it. It's a great read, but it just fleshes out the story a little bit more. But I quite liked Finn in this movie, and I do think the Stormtrooper revolution would be pretty interesting. One of my buddies, Chris, and I, we have been messing around with Christian and I have been messing around with like a Finn show. Like we've been like talking about ideas about it for like a year or so. And like one of the cool things is like if Finn went out after the events of Rise of Skywalker and like found ex stormtroopers who were also force sensitive, and he kind of like creates like a little group of force sensitive people that are also ex stormtroopers, and maybe Rey helps them learn the force a little bit. But I don't think I have anything else to say besides what has already been said about kind of what I want to change. I like this movie. It's not my favorite.
I do too.
There's definitely things that you fucking love it.
I do. Big fan. Big fan.
I think the Star Wars saying on Twitter, all Star Wars is good, is bullshit, because that is just a stupid argument.
Every movie has something shitty in it.
He's an idiot. I know him personally. He's an idiot. And but I think all Star Wars can be fun to someone. Like I think that's like all Star Wars is Star Wars is the saying I think I would put, because
that's a good point.
That's what I've said before. Is like as awful of a take as it may be, like I love Star Wars on a level I can't love other movies and stuff. Like if you were to ask me, just well, objectively, I think blah 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 type question. If you were to ask me what movie do you like more, Attack of the Clones or like Citizen Kane, I'm gonna go
Attack of the Clones for sure. Like it's
I'm gonna say Attack of the Clones. Why? Because it's fucking Star Wars. Citizen Kane doesn't have lightsabers.
Saturday while I'm vacuuming.
Attack of the Clones is a good movie. It's fun. I like it.
Dude, I don't know what it is, but like my girlfriend and I watched it like a week ago, and like
Dooku. That's
that movie. that movie has gotten so much better to me in like such a short a period of like I remember a year ago I watched it and like, man, this is all right.
If you want to like Attack of the Clones, there's a lot there. There's a lot.
I think so. I can
a lot of meat on
you're
that
right.
bone.
There is a lot.
That's
of
where, no, it is. I used to put it at the
love.
bottom of my list, but like it has like just like it's Clone Wars the movie, basically.
Geonosis is amazing.
And I want to
yes.
But my last point that I want to make before we kind of wrap up the show tonight, I like if I had to change one thing about the movie, like I think Jared's talked about it a lot. I wouldn't have killed Ben Solo. I think that if you keep Ben Solo alive, you get the opportunity to do future stories, which you could still do with him dying, but like it leaves it. There's no doubt you could definitely do more stories with him.
Ben live. Let Ben live.
And I think that like at that point, you don't get the backlash to it that a lot of people had to it, because like I think that a part of the biggest reason people don't like it is because Ben Solo dies, and I think that a lot of people like Ben Solo a lot. But
guys, we have a special transmission coming in.
Oh, we do?
Is here.
What's going on,
Nick
man?
Fury.
Basically.
That's awesome. What's going on, buddy?
Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
Yeah.
doing
hello.
okay?
What is your opinion on the Rise of Skywalker before we end, buddy?
The best way I can put it is that there's many moments in Rise of Skywalker that taken by themselves, I really hold near and dear to my heart in terms of just the greater mythology of Star Wars. But just as a movie constructed together, not my entire cup of tea.
What would be the one thing you would change then? Because I want to hear yours, and then I have my real one.
Probably Rey being a Palpatine.
Okay, I got you.
Good answer. Good answer.
I think that. Go ahead.
The way I put is that like the emotional core of Rey's arc just rocks so hard, and just her whole thing of dealing with darkness. But like, to me at least, I don't know if this is something that you guys might have picked up on, but like, the Palpatine thing is so inconsequential for her. Like, literally, you have to change like 3 scenes, and it's like it never happened. Like, it's just so inconsequential. And just that, like, that you just don't need it for her.
Yeah, I got you.
That would be my big change.
I got you. If I'm not going to do the Ben Solo living one cool moment that I think that instead of it's showing not I guess what is it, show not telling, is when to give Finn a little bit more, to show that he's Force sensitive. I think that on the duel at the old Death Star,
I made a tweet about that. Well, okay, more so a tweet about just like how Fallen Order was very character focused and how Rise of Skywalker was the complete opposite, and how I think that kind of was a big detriment to it.
Yeah. But, if you have a moment where like Rey loses the Skywalker saber for a moment and like it falls on the ground, and then you see like Kylo, kind of like a mirroring of the Force Awakens where Kylo's trying to get it again, but instead of Rey getting it, it's Finn, and Finn comes in, like saves the day for like a minute. He gets his ass kicked immediately, but like then it shows like, look, he's Force sensitive. Like this isn't like something kind of like J.J. Abrams has to tell you in an interview. It's showing in the movie like, no, Finn is Force sensitive and he can use this.
This is where the audience frustrates me so much, though, because the movie, using so much Star Wars film language, does everything to tell you that Finn is using the Force.
I honestly, the first time I saw it, I thought he was going to tell Rey that he loved her.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
that's what I thought too.
That's what I thought it was. I did not get
first
"I'm a
couple of
Jedi"
times.
vibes from him.
I didn't.
That blood because like every time he's like, oh, like I feel
You're
like
smarter
he's
than
like,
us,
oh,
Jared.
I
It's
feel
okay.
When he
something.
got to
It's
the
fine.
a feeling thing
now
with
I feel
Jana,
like I'm
that's when I was like,
I
okay,
didn't mean it to come off that
No,
way.
I'm
I
just-
didn't mean it that way.
poor Sky.
I'm
Just like
kidding.
because
I'm
he
kidding,
has
I'm
his
kidding.
moments of like, oh, like I can feel it.
Mhm.
I feel it.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like,
I
yes,
thought he
he's
meant
like,
their
Yeah,
connection.
baby, you
They're,
feel them?
We
they're
got
I
it,
fight.
was
but
just
like,
so focused on Ray's arc that like
I
everything with Finn came out to me after the fact.
I want to see a Finn Jedi. I want to see Jedi
Yes.
Finn, and I think
Canonize
that
has to
having
be
the
that,
holiday
they have
special,
to
or
write
at least
John
the first
Boyega.
I
like,
think
10
that
minutes
that
of it.
has to like if they don't do if they're gonna do any like post sequel or stuff, that's the stuff I want to see. Either Ray, and I want Finn and Ray discovering the new Jedi and like basically, recruiting new Jedi. Yeah, exactly. He did. No,
Yeah,
you're
did
right,
not pick
and like
that.
I got it, but it's just like, Jesus Christ, what was that? Did y'all hear that?
yeah, who's playing Five Nights at Freddy's? What the fuck was that?
I was like, what the?
That
hell
wasn't
was that?
me.
Oh God. Any final
Well,
thoughts before we wrap
this has
up
been
for
great.
tonight?
And my biggest thing, and I'm glad we brought up Duel of the Fates a little bit. I think that the best version of this movie is like a really weird, vivified Duel of the Fates, Rise of Skywalker. Where like you absolutely like keep the Rise of Skywalker force plot for the most part. And you keep the like war plot of Duel of the Fates, where you have Finn leading the Stormtrooper revolution, hopefully lightsaber in hand. I'm working on a script for a video where I want to do like two different versions of like how I'd fix the sequel trilogy. One where Palpatine comes back, and one where the big bad is a force sensitive General Hux. Because it occurred to me that Hux can basically be Darth Grand Moff Tarkin if handled correctly, which is kind of terrifying the more and more I thought about it. But like if you vivify those two stories, you have the perfect Star Wars movie. And the parts of The Rise of Skywalker that I watch and go, this is a perfect Star Wars. And there's parts of Duel of the Fates that when I listen to that incredible audio drama, I interviewed the guy who was directing that, and I can't remember his name to save my life, but it was incredible. Go listen to that audio drama. Go read the screenplay for yourself. And it's the first draft, and there's already moments you go, this is incredible. Like, this is good shit. This is the gourmet Star Wars shit. And there's parts of The Rise of Skywalker that I'm like, this is top shelf Star Wars. And then there's parts that are just so smooth-brained and so stupid and just blow my mind with how anybody let it go to print. That I'm just like, there's perfection in there, like Batman v Superman, like the Amazing Spider-Man 2. There is perfection.
Is perfection. So
there is perfection. It's all perfection.
Yes.
Rise of Skywalker. I think the main point of this episode has been that the Rise of Skywalker is better than Empire Strikes Back, and everyone agrees with me. I want to thank everybody for showing up, for talking Star. No, we gotta go. We gotta cut it short for time.
I just want Luke Skywalker to grab Kylo's. This is gonna sound really dirty now. Lightsaber, like he did in Duel of the Fates. Like he grabs the lights. I thought that was cool.
I just want to say that the Duel of the Fates script went hard. I freaking love that. Like, it was gourmet Star Wars for
there
the
were
most
parts
part.
of it like Rise of Skywalker. There were parts that were good, parts that were bad.
Yeah,
I got you.
Sprinkle them on each other. There you go.
And with that, guys, that's gonna do it for tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Let's plug away. Connor, where can everybody find you, buddy?
Twitter at Depa Banana. I'm not even gonna plug Instagram because I never use the darn thing. Nerd Academy podcast along with Jared, where we talk about Star Wars, nerd stuff, everything in between. And I write articles very slowly and will be writing stories at sweditorig.com. We have an entire fan universe written out, planned out. It's pretty neat. So go check that out if you haven't. So
awesome. Jerry, where can they find you, buddy?
Like
Well, you
Connor
guys-
said, well, my
Jerry.
socials.
Oh, sorry.
Jerry. I said Jerry. Jerry.
Is it
My
E?
deepest
Is it E,
apologies.
not D?
It's Jerry. It's the boyo Jerry.
Boyo Jerry. Okay, so sorry, Jared.
It's all
Jared.
good.
I
Okay,
apologize.
Here we go.
We're good.
You can find me every third. Well, actually, we're taking a little bit of the holidays off here. We're going to return the Thursday after Book of Boba Fett on Bombad Cast. We're going to be doing recap shows called the Book of Bombad. So check those out. You know, if you want to know me and Scotty's opinions on the Boba Fett stuff. And I just announced today that Hyperfocus will be returning January 3rd on Monday nights. We're going to be on Monday nights again. And my first guest is going to be Andy of Forced Friends Rewatch, and I'm really excited to have them on because they're just a fantastic, awesome person. So check that out. Get ready for some more Hyperfocus, and you can follow me at The Canon Junkie on Twitter.
Awesome. Now, Jared. Where can I find
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJediTony552. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on all of the things. 1 second. Oh man, that didn't work. I tried to link it in the chat. I'm gonna try that again if one of you guys want to like get rid of the link I accidentally put in there. That all got typoed up. Premiering in like 30 minutes is the prediction cast for Spider-Man No Way Home on the Nerd Academy YouTube channel. It was a lot of fun, and I highly recommend everybody watch it on their way to see Spider-Man tomorrow because it'll kind of whet your appetite. I love the fellows over at Comic Book Cast, so that was a lot of fun. And like I said, it premieres in 30 minutes. If any of you guys are going to go check that out. Like Connor said, we talk Star Wars on Knights of the Nerd Republic. All things nerddom, Nerd Academy podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. And like I said, I'm just going to try to put the link in this time without putting text around it. There, that worked. I'm bad at this. But yeah, go watch our new Spider-Man video that comes out in 30 minutes.
Awesome. Dre, where can they find you, bud?
Boom. But also, I had the opportunity about a month ago to go to LA for a cool Spider-Man show or thing.
So cool.
And I filmed a vlog for that and got really lazy and edited half of it, but I finished it. And that is going to be up tomorrow. So after you watch Jared's video, but before you watch Spider-Man No Way Home, watch my vlog. It's 10 minutes. And you get to see Tom Holland talking. And I bet you haven't seen it before because I got it pretty cool footage that isn't really online anywhere. I will be seeing the movie that I have hyped up for a year and a half. Honestly, even more than that, 2.5 years tomorrow. I've been waiting for this movie. So I am very excited for Spider-Man No Way Home tomorrow. I have my outfit planned out. I know what I'm going to wear. I am going to see it in IMAX at 6:40 p.m. and I have tickets on Friday as well because I just know I will want to see it a bunch of times again. I saw The Force Awakens 12 times in theaters. I don't think I'm going to break that, but probably get 6 or 7 in this one. AMC A-list,
Tag
baby.
us on your No Way Home
Nice.
fit checks.
Fit checks. Okay, I will send it to various group chats.
I'm saying that to everybody. Everybody. I want to see everybody's No
Dude,
Way Home fit
I
check.
have a whole tweet planned because I have a picture of me when I was 4 years old wearing a Spider-Man shirt, and then I'm gonna link it to my outfit tomorrow. This is little me in 2002 wearing Spider-Man, and in 2021 I'm gonna be wearing a similar red shirt. So that's what's going on.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
nice.
And you guys can follow me on Twitter at Star Wars Bill. Follow Skywalking through the league on Twitter at SkywalkingTL. We just hit over 500 followers there, which I'm really, really excited about.
Thank you guys
yeah.
so much.
Thank you so much for following us.
boys.
And like I said at the beginning, if you are able to, please give to the tornado relief in Western Kentucky. We will put the links to the donations in the podcast episode. Please, my people need your help, and anything that you can give would be greatly appreciated. I love you guys. Godspeed, Rebels.